She said it with a glowing smile, like she had just gifted the world a miracle. "We're having twins!" The room exploded. Cheers, applause. My mother nearly cried. Her father stood up, already talking about names. Phones came out. Someone popped open champagne. And I just sat there, smiling, calm, still. Because in that exact moment, I realized something terrifying. Not panic, not confusion, clarity. A cold, surgical kind of clarity that settled deep in my chest like ice water. I leaned forward slightly, resting my elbows on the table, letting the noise settle just enough for my voice to cut through it. And then I said it. Wow, that's amazing. A pause, a breath. Then I added, almost casually, "Hope they look like their father." Silence. The kind of silence that doesn't just fill a room. It suffocates it. Her smile didn't drop immediately. It twitched. Just for a second. But I saw it. That flicker of fear. That was the moment I knew. I wasn't wrong, and I wasn't done. Because what none of them knew was that I had already been preparing for this exact moment. If you've ever been lied to, betrayed, or made to feel like a fool, this story is going to hit hard. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stick around, because what happens next is one of the most calculated and satisfying revenge moments you'll ever hear. I wasn't always this controlled. A year ago, I was the kind of man who believed in people, in loyalty, in building something real with someone. Her name was Sarah, and if you saw us from the outside, we looked perfect. She was charming, effortlessly social, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and own it without even trying. People loved her. My family adored her. My friends envied me. And I trusted her. Completely. We got engaged after 2 years. It felt right. Natural. Like the next step in a life that was already laid out. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. At first it was small. Late replies. Cancelled plans. That subtle distance in her voice when she thought I wasn't paying attention. "You're overthinking," she'd say, brushing it off with a laugh. And I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. Because the alternative meant everything I thought I had wasn't real. Then came the pregnancy announcement. She told me first, just the two of us. "I'm pregnant," she whispered, eyes wide, searching mine for a reaction. And I remember forcing a smile, because something didn't feel right. Not emotionally. Logically. You see, 6 months before that moment, I had a vasectomy. Not something I advertised. Not something I felt the need to explain to everyone. It was a personal decision. One I made after years of being certain I didn't want kids. She knew. We had talked about it. She had agreed. At least, I thought she had. So, when she stood there, holding that test, waiting for me to celebrate, all I could hear was the faint ringing in my ears. I didn't confront her. Not then. Instead, I did something else. I watched. I paid attention in ways I never had before. The late nights became patterns. The girls' dinners had inconsistencies. Names slipped. Details didn't match. And then one night, she forgot to lock her phone. I didn't hesitate. Call it wrong. Call it invasive. I don't care. Because what I found confirmed everything. Messages, photos, plans. There was another man. Not just a mistake. Not just a one-time betrayal. A full-blown relationship, running parallel to ours. Inside jokes I'd never heard. Places she told me she'd never been. And the worst part, she talked about me like I was temporary. "Once everything is settled," she wrote, "we'll figure it out." Figure it out. Like I was a problem to solve. Not a person. That night, something inside me didn't break. It hardened. No shouting. No confrontation. No dramatic exit. Just silence. And a plan. Because if she wanted to play this game, I was going to finish it. And I was going to do it in a way she would never forget. So I scheduled a doctor's appointment. Got my medical records, every detail, every confirmation. Cold, clinical, undeniable. Then I waited. I let her set the stage. The big family dinner. Both sides, smiles, laughter, celebration. Her moment. Our moment. And I sat there, watching her glow under the attention, knowing exactly how it was going to end. Because revenge isn't about shouting. It's about timing. And mine was perfect. The silence I created didn't last long. At first, people thought I was joking. My father let out an awkward laugh. Her mother blinked rapidly, like she was trying to process what I'd just said. Someone muttered, "What does that even mean?" But Sarah, she didn't laugh. Her eyes locked onto mine, and for the first time since I'd met her, she looked scared. Not confused, not offended. Scared. Why would you say that? She asked, her voice thinner now, stripped of that polished confidence she always carried. I leaned back in my chair, slowly, deliberately. Every movement controlled. Every second stretched. Because this wasn't just about exposing her. This was about making sure everyone understood. I said calmly, it's just biology, right? A few uneasy chuckles, no one fully grasping it yet. And then I reached into my jacket, pulled out a folded envelope, set it on the table between us. The sound of paper hitting wood felt louder than it should have been. I figured, I continued, since we're sharing big news, I might as well share mine too. Sarah's breathing changed, subtle but noticeable. Her hand twitched toward the envelope, then stopped. Go ahead, I said, nodding toward it. Open it. She didn't move, so her father did. He picked it up, glanced at me, then unfolded the papers inside. At first, his expression was neutral. Then it shifted. Confusion, then disbelief, and finally, something darker. What is this? He asked, his voice low. I didn't look at him. I kept my eyes on her. It's a vasectomy report, I said, from 6 months ago. The room froze. Completely. No movement. No whispers. Just that crushing, suffocating silence again. And then, that's not funny, Sarah snapped too quickly. Too sharp. There's nothing funny about it, I replied. Her face started to crumble now. The carefully crafted mask she wore in front of everyone, cracking under pressure. You're lying, she said, shaking her head. This is some kind of joke. I wish it was. I leaned forward again, lowering my voice just enough to make people lean in. But the dates match, Sarah. The procedure. The follow-up tests. 0 sperm count. I paused. Let it sink in. Which means... Those twins? I tilted my head slightly. They're not mine. The explosion didn't happen all at once. It started small. Her mother gasped, covering her mouth. My sister whispered, "Oh my God," under her breath. Her father stood up so abruptly, his chair scraped harshly against the floor. And then everything broke. What is he talking about? Someone demanded. Sarah stood up too, her chair nearly tipping over. This is insane, she shouted, her voice cracking now. He's trying to humiliate me. No, I said quietly. You did that yourself. That hit hard. Because deep down, she knew. I could see it in the way her shoulders tensed, in the way her eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape that didn't exist. You went through my phone, didn't you? She spat suddenly, desperation creeping in. I didn't deny it. Didn't need to. That doesn't matter, I said. What matters is the truth. Her father turned to her, his face red with anger. Is it true? She didn't answer, didn't deny it, didn't defend herself. And that silence? That was louder than anything she could have said. The room turned on her in an instant. Voices overlapping, questions firing, accusations flying. And me? I just sat there, still, calm, watching it all unfold. Because this was the moment. Not revenge fueled by rage, but justice delivered with precision. She looked at me one last time, tears in her eyes now, makeup starting to run. That perfect image finally shattered. You planned this, she whispered. I held her gaze. For a while, I admitted. And then I stood up. No dramatic speech, no yelling. Just one final sentence. You should probably call the real father. And I walked out. The air outside felt different. Lighter. Like I had just stepped out of a suffocating room I didn't even realize I'd been trapped in. Behind me, through the closed doors, I could still hear muffled shouting. Chaos. The life she built on lies. Collapsing in real time. And for the first time in weeks, my chest didn't feel tight. There was no anger left, no bitterness, just quiet. Because revenge, real revenge, isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't chase. It waits. It watches. And when the moment comes, it ends things cleanly. I didn't ruin her life. I just removed myself from the lie she created. Everything else, that was her doing. Looking back, the signs were always there. I just chose not to see them. Trust isn't blind. It's a decision. And sometimes we hold on to people not because they deserve it, but because we're afraid of what happens if we let go. But here's the truth. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything built on lies. Because in the end, the truth doesn't just come out. It exposes everything. If this story gave you that cold, satisfying sense of justice, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have confronted her earlier? Or waited for the perfect moment like this? And if you want more stories where betrayal meets calculated revenge, stick around, because the next one might be even colder.